Okay, good day everyone. Welcome to this session of the IETF DETNET working group. The group is co-chaired by Lou Berger next to me and myself, János Farkas, and we have our secretary Yves Schuler on site doing a great job. You can find the logistics at the usual places, and as a reminder, by participating in the IETF, you agree to follow the IETF processes and procedures, policies. This notewell is a reminder of some of these policies. You can find the details in the links, and you can also scan the QR code. I would like to remind you that all the contributions become a permanent record of the IETF, and whatever you say as well, a contribution. Also, a reminder that IETF participants are expected to behave with respect and courtesy to their colleagues, and you can find the details in the conduct guidelines. On site, please scan the QR code and for the virtual blue sheet, and remote participants, make sure that you are muted when you are not speaking. So note-taking is a joint effort, so please join us with the note-taking and make sure what everything is recorded correctly. We need to capture the essence of the discussion only. And we have a very packed agenda. Some items have been removed, but we would like to ask you to keep the time, and the time on the agenda includes the time for discussion as well. For the working group authors, we would like to ask you to focus on the changes from the last meeting and what are the plans to complete the document. And for non-working group documents, we would like to ask you to focus on what area of the working group charter is being addressed. If it is not a new document, what are the changes, what are the next steps? And a status update on the working group. We have 2 new RFCs published. Both are coming from the Reliable Available Wireless Work. The raw technologies and the raw architectures have been published. Many thanks to all who have been contributed. This was a great effort. Started as a standalone working group and then folded into DETNET. Nothing in the RFC editor queue at the moment. And we have a few working group drafts that are not on the agenda for today. Liaison statements since the last IETF. We have 2 liaisons from ITUT Study Group 13. This one on the screen is for information. This is informing us, the DETNET working group, on the progress of the work items related to deterministic networking. And the most recent one that came in out of the last plenary is for action. There are 4 items in the liaison. So the purpose of the liaison is to inform the DETNET working group about the maturity of one of the ongoing works related to DETNET work, and also seeking feedback from the DETNET working group. So they actually ask the DETNET working group to review the new draft recommendation and provide feedback, especially as it is related to the stateless fair queuing draft, which is item 3 on the agenda today. So I suggest to discuss the details of a potential liaison. We should send or expect to send the liaison back to ITUT Study Group 13 on our work. And everybody is welcome to contribute. So if you are willing, please contribute to the development of the response. Just a reminder on the IPRs, we do the IPR calls at each step in the process of the document development. And to progress our work, we mainly use the mailing list. So please utilize the list. We can also have virtual interims as needed and informal working group meetings. So please contact us if you see need for such meetings. And as a reminder on document status, we expect that all the working group authors to provide a status update. So we have most of them on the agenda, but not all. And for those ones that are not on the agenda, we expect an email to be sent to the list. And actually, we are missing some updates for some of the draft. So please provide the update. That's the intro part, and moving to the next deck is, so the taxonomy.
And please remember, please join the note-taking to help capture the discussion. Thank you. Clicker.
Yes.
Hello, everyone. Jinu Zhang.
Just tell us go advance.
Yeah.
for the moment.
This mic is a little bit high. Just a second. Thank you.
Yeah, it should work.
This doesn't work.
No. Right now.
Okay, yeah. Thank you. This is about the taxonomy draft. I will just read through the slide so that you can have question later. So the taxonomy draft is to facilitate the understanding of the data plane enhancement solution. We have quite a lot of solutions for now. The taxonomy draft has defined one performance-related criteria and 4 functional criteria. It has specified 2 reference topologies. It has specified 7 suitable categories. So currently, our data plane enhancement solutions must be one of these 7 suitable categories, right? In this version, version 6, section 8, considerations for interoperability between solutions is revised to be a complete form. In doing so, a new document is referred, which is DETNET multi-domain framework, which also has been adopted recently. So in this revision, we have been discussing about the interoperability. It is defined between technological domains. So the technological domains is the defined term in that multi-domain draft. So we have adopted that term in this taxonomy draft as well. It defines how well solutions can operate without specialized treatment, both in data plane and control planes. So we have come up with 2 metrics. One is operability, which defines the interoperability, how easy it is to integrate functions in the control plane. So that's the operability. And this aspect will be covered by the DETNET multi-domain framework as well. And the data plane path, in the data plane operation, we have come up with the so-called performance metric, which defines the feasibility of the consistently meeting the requested service levels across the entire data plane path. So this is the newly added table, which was incomplete before, but now in its complete form. It is just an example interoperability levels. On the right side, in the x-axis and y-axis, we can have at most 7 suitable categories, but in this table, in this specific table, we only have 2 suitable categories, and we have defined how well they are interoperable with each other in terms of operability of control plane and the performance in data plane. So, the plan. I think the document is very stable now. It has not been revised since like 1 year for now. And we don't have any more revision plan. That's it. Thank you.
Questions?
Hey there, Mike Blanche. Thank you, Jinu, for the update. On the interoperability section and the table you suggested, I was looking at the draft and it's not kind of clear what should be done with the output of that and whether something is low, medium, or high. Doesn't seem to have any kind of implementation kind of considerations or implications. Is there a plan to add that?
Could you speak up a little bit? I cannot hear
Sorry,
you.
I'll go a bit closer. So this table, it doesn't kind of go to the next step, which is what is the implementation implications for something being low, medium, or high. We have the three levels, and medium, I'm not quite sure where that fits between low. It fits in the middle between low and high, but what does that mean for someone who's looking to implement this?
Right. Okay, thank you. Thank you for the question. Before answering your question, I have to say that this is the informational document, which tries to give the information without any implementation issues, without any standard issues. The background of this document is to facilitate the understanding of the data plane solutions, which is currently being developed in this working group. There are about 6 or 7 such solutions, which we will review today. This taxonomy draft is to categorize those solutions and how well they can perform in specific scenarios, in specific reference topologies, and so on. So this is just an informational. There's nothing more about it.
I think we're also contribution driven, Mike. So if you have additional suggestions on what to add, please send it to the list and we can incorporate it.
Thank you.
We always welcome opportunities for improving our documents. Okay, we're going to move on to the next, which is also Genu. I can, here, let me do this. You have to cancel. You should be able to do it now. Oh, maybe I can.
Thank you. This is about the latency guarantee with stateless fair queuing. I have to confess that these slides are quite long, having 13 pages, and I only have 10 minutes. So I will try my best to go through all the contents, but let's see, okay? So this is the overview of the Cisco draft history. It has been started 2023, but it has been adopted to working group only recently, this year, April. It is one of the data plane enhancement solutions, and it is categorized by the taxonomy draft as a flow-level, rate-based, unbounded solution, which is a suitable category. And this revision is the version number 1. In revision 1, this version, there is an addition of the estimation process of the total service rate of the link. To be exact, such a process should be used. That term, that kind of statement is added in 6.3 admission control. So what has been added here is the one sentence inside the red box. The total service rate of the link is estimated by the mechanism specified in WIDA QoS SRE RF. So that statement, only that statement is added. So as such, that ITUT document, WIDA QoS SRE RF, is added as a reference, of course, whose title is Requirements and Framework for Service Rates Estimation with Packet Metadata for Stateless Admission Control, which is under consideration within ITUT SC13 and is about scalable stateless service-ready estimation for admission control. And this document is based on the Cisco framework and Cisco metadata. And it requires an added metadata. So as such, again, in this revision version 1 of Cisco, a metadata is added, and their according head formats are defined in clause 6.1 and 6.2. So at this point, I would like to say what is the relationship with ITUT standards. So I try to summarize the relationship with ITUT standards and why working in both SDOs in this diagram. So in the upper part, you can see the ITUT standards and the ongoing draft, which is Y.3129, 3148, and the Y.QS SRE-RF. These documents defines high-level requirements, and in IETF we also have existing standards regarding the RSVF. For example, RFC 2205, 2210, just to name a few. And about IPv6, we have RFC 8200, 8504, and so on. And we are also having ongoing work related with MPLS MNA, MPLS Network Action draft that is being developed. So adopting those high-level requirements into the internet, we have to carefully coordinate with existing IETF standards. And that is what this Cisco draft in IETF, the networking group, is doing. It defines the implementation details.
Okay. Can we stop here for a bit of a discussion? Okay. Yeah.
Oh, for the question.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we've had some discussion of what is appropriate for here versus what is happening with the ITUT document. I'm going to forget the name, but it was on the prior slide. The thing we want to be really careful about is to not repeat the same definition in multiple SDOs.
Right.
Given that this work is going forward, I think it's back one slide, right? Go back one slide. I know, but do you mind going? Yeah. So given this work is going on in ITUT, and you saw that we received a liaison about it actually today, we want to be very careful to ensure that what we're doing is aligned with this document and is not covering any of the same material in this document.
Right. Yeah.
So if there's anything in the IETF document that is repeating information in the ITUT document, we would need to remove that.
Right.
And it's perfectly fine, and we've done this with TSN documents, it's perfectly fine to reference the other work in the SDO, the other SDO. But we don't want to repeat or redefine.
Right. Yeah.
So we have to be very careful, and I know you
Yeah.
said careful in the next one. I appreciate that. It seems like we have some in the past there's been some misalignments. I'm not sure if there's misalignments now. I haven't had an opportunity to read the document. But it's something that we're going to have to go forward with. And one of the comments made by our AD happens to be in the room. Actually, I don't remember if it was our AD or a different AD, is that when we go to the IESG, it will be blocked if we are not haven't arranged the text in such a way that we're not stepping on toes, we're not repeating information. If the group agrees to put forward a document that duplicates what's in the ITUT, it will not progress. It will not get published. So we have to be very careful not to do that.
I understand.
And we have a couple of people in queue.
So my brief answer to Lou's comments, I think it's more like an advice than just a question or comment. I totally agree with Lou. The most important thing is the coordination, alignment, and then non-overlap, right? So yeah, we are trying our best to not overlap with the ITUT standard, as well as having the perfect coordination or alignment with those standards. Thank you. Mike, yes.
Thanks. And I'd just like, this is Mike Blanche again, I'd just like to echo what what Lou, the chair, has just said. And I've said on the list before that we should not be duplicating work that is done in the ITUT. And the previous slide you had of the kind of relationship between the different standards, we should talk about some of that in more detail in a minute. I think you have some further slides which in particular relate to the liaison that we've just received today that we should talk about in more detail. But there seems to be a bigger issue around consistency, coordination, and cooperation between what's happening in ITUT Study Group 13 and what's happening here, even though some of the same authors and contributors are here. But I have specific questions on some of the stuff you haven't got to yet, so I'll step away.
Okay, thank you.
Hi. Since Lou brought it up as the responsible AD, I would strongly recommend that this clarification of overlap and what's complementary with the other SDO be resolved in the working group. I do not believe it should be something that should come all the way till the ISG. That would be just not right, and it would be too late. So please do all the collaboration and all the clarifications while the document is still with the working group.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, I'll proceed. So I think the time is quite up. So yeah, I will skip this slide. This slide is about the mechanisms specified in ITUT document, how the service rates of the flows can be estimated. But you can take a look at the ITUT document later, and I will just skip this slide. So this is the revised header format according to the added metadata. The fourth one with the red box highlighted, that is the added one. That is the title of the metadata is the difference of finish times. It is actually the difference between the current package finish time and the previous package finish time. Okay, so yeah, I only have 2 minutes. And according to the MPLS post-stack M&A, the first metadata is put in like that form. But I'd like to highlight that not only the post-stack M&A is considered, the in-stack M&A can be also considered, but not that part is not yet covered in the draft. Okay, so far we have discussed about the added metadata and how it can be implemented in MPLS header and IPv6 header. This is from now on, I would like to discuss a new stuff briefly. This is section 8 of the draft, which is about how to approximate C-score. Okay, C-score has a very good performance-related. C-score has a very good performance, but it has a little complex. It has a bit of complexity. That is, it has to sort the packet according to their finish time. Okay, so we have to have a priority queue, such as pushing first out, P4. But some of the high-speed routers cannot afford such a PI4, so we have come up with an approximation technique, which is a little bit complex, so I won't go into the detail. In essence, it is based on the rotating strict priority schedule. So as we all know, strict priority scheduler is very common, implemented in every router, I would say. The only thing we need is the rotation of such a priority of the SP, strict priority scheduler. With that rotating type of strict priority scheduler, we can approximate the C-score very efficiently It even has in theorem 4, theorem 3, you see that there is a mathematical end-to-end latency bound, which is very close to the C-score latency bound. As you can see, okay.
For the time, maybe we can skip the simulation and go to your future plans.
Okay,
Right?
yeah. You can see the simulation result by yourself. And the future plan is like this. We'll fix the header format. I just showed you 2 types of header format, MPLS post-stack and IPv6. But the exact format is not yet defined because we need to coordinate with other solutions as well. And then, okay.
That was a mistake.
And then I will update the ITUT document to align with the current our draft and the newly developing draft as well. Yeah. Thank you. Any question?
Mike, please. Yeah, the comment.
Hi, Mike Blanche, and sorry to be up here again. So a bit of history here on this. This draft relates to the liaison statement that was mentioned at the start of the meeting. And that liaison statement comes from the last study group 13 meeting, which I was in and Jinu was in Geneva, regarding a draft that's ready for consent at the ITUT, and this draft, because the one that's ready for consent at ITUT uses 4 metadata fields, and this one, until the new draft was put forward a couple of weeks ago, uses 3 metadata fields, and that's inconsistent, and we needed to fix that. So the proposal here seems to be to change it to 4, which would fix the specific issue in the liaison, but also requires going back and changing 2 other ITUT standards, which only use 3
So
metadata.
we actually are out of time on this.
Yeah.
So we've received the liaison.
Yeah.
I think you're suggesting perhaps some things that might go in a liaison response. We welcome that to the list. Also, we've said that this document has to be aligned with what's done in the ITUT. This group has no influence as a group on what happens in the ITUT. Certainly individuals will work to coordinate, and we appreciate both of you who are working on the alignment. But the document will have to be aligned what comes into the from the ITUT. We don't control that here. We'll have to look forward to that in a future draft. If we're not aligned, we will not make it through the ISG. It will not get published. So it's in everyone's interest to ensure that alignment.
Yep.
Thank you.
Okay,
and with that, we're going to move to deadline-based forwarding.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jinu.
Pulling from China Mobile. So it's a deadline-based forwarding. This draft. So the updates of this draft now is the 0.1 version, and we simplify some document content for easy reading and define some abbreviations such as the EDF and the core definition about the draft. And the main updates to remove the options including reshaping plus sorted queue and reshaping plus rotating priority queue. Originally, we have 4 options, but now we focus on the optimal options of the 2. One's latency compensation plus sorted queue, and another is latency compensation plus RPQ. So the reason is that we want to follow the requirement document that for the scalability, and we don't want that every nodes could maintain the state of the flow. So we want to make stateless solutions about it. So it's the main updates of this draft, and the future plan is to supplement the definition of core terms and highlight principle of compensation mechanisms of the remand options. and then supplement the description on how to apply CEDF in the overall network. And we will welcome any further comments. The draft text itself has a lot of pages, so if you want to know more about it, please read the draft. And in this presentation, we won't say so much about the solution itself. So any comments on this draft?
Any comments, questions from anyone? Not then, let's move to the next one.
You got it?
Okay,
Please.
this one is time slot, queuing and forwarding, TQF. So it's also the 0.1 version, and here are the updates to address the comments received, to add a section operational consideration to describe how to apply this mechanism in the overall network, and put section evaluations into the appendix part. And we polish the text and revise the editorial errors. So for these solutions, it's you can just realize it at the solution between CQF and the TS. So we implement orchestrator part to put the flows into the time slot, and to reduce complex with the DS solutions, and also can realize the different delays and about the different flows. So for the simplicity, we just remove BTM detection, focus on BOM detection, and we remove the global time slot style. And it's the same. The text for this draft is really long, so if you want to know about it, please read the draft. And the future plan is to supplement description of class-based or flow-based features. And based on the discussion and the decision of the working group, merge with TCQF to provide a single time slot scheduling mechanism. And welcome any further comments.
Maybe the other one, maybe there's another one behind.
See if it's turned off. Might be just switched off. Just use the other one.
Use the other one. Gino, use the other one.
Thank you. Thank you, Peng. I remember that in the last meeting, we were almost on the agreement that this scheme and a turtleless TCQF is a little bit different.
Yes.
Because one is based on the flow, the other is based on the class. And not only those traffic granularity, but also about the traffic path. Because, you know, the flow is something, the set of packets that share the flow paths, right? End-to-end paths. But about the class is not about such a path. So I'm not so sure if those two solutions can be merged easily. That's my question.
Okay, so if I understand right, you mean to merge them two, right? Or you say they are different?
Yeah, I put it differently. Have you ever considered technically merging these two solutions into one?
In fact, no.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Any further questions coming?
Xiaofu?
Hello?
Yes, please
I
go
have
ahead.
some complementary for discussion for the merge of T graph and T graph. In fact, as I have replied in the mails that maybe T graph may be a special case of T graph. So in technical point, I think there is no any blocker issues for merging, but that is just based on the decision of working group. We will need more discussion. Thank you.
Yeah, well, the voice is not so clear, so just to make sure in the note takers about it. So thank you.
So I think if you could repeat the comment to the list, that would be helpful, just because you didn't come through too clearly in the room.
Hello, I'm Yanchal Liu from E3. Today I'd like to present the updates in the draft on-time forwarding version 2. This draft has been updated to the version 2 by adding appendix chapter for the mathematical proof, and this draft aims to guarantee the minimum and maximum end-to-end latency. It belongs to the low level non-periodic bounded category. The main update in this revision is the addition of the Appendix A, which is provide mathematical proof. Because in previous meeting, working group requested the more mathematical justification for how to guarantee the packet transmit before the maximum departure time. So in response, the Appendix A demonstrate that if the admission condition is satisfied, every forwarding node transmit packet within its forwarding budget, thereby guaranteeing both node delay bound and end-to-end latency bound. In addition, we have added co-author Chang Choi, who helped with this update and algorithm implementation on FPGA and testing result, testing performance. So this is key idea of the mathematical proof. For all packet, for all packets, minimum and maximum departure time are determined based on the Buffalo configured node delay low and upper bound. And the packet are queuing in ascending order according to their nominal departure time, and can be dequeued over the minimum departure time. As a result, the queuing delay experienced by packet P, depending on only the traffic scheduled before the packet P. We call this traffic preceding packet set in this scheduled packet. Therefore, the worst case queuing delay is determined by the total amount of the traffic contained in this preceding packet set. Consequently, in the worst case queuing delay is smaller than the forwarding budget. This queuing delay is smaller than the forwarding budget. Then the packet is guaranteed the departure before its maximum departure time. Then question is how we estimate the worst case preceding traffic. First, for each flow sharing the output port, we can calculate the bounded budget contribution denoted as RAS B. This value represents the worst case additional accumulated burst that flow J may contribute to the preceding packet set at node I. Because this algorithm can only transmit the packet,
Lost connection. Can you?
yes. Because this algorithm can only transmit the packet within the forwarding budget, the amount of the burst that can increase while the passing through the nodes also limited based on the forwarding budget, as initial burst plus service rate multiply the forwarding budget, multiply the hop to node I. Assume that all nodes have the same budget. Thereby, the worst case proceeding packet set can be estimated by summing this bounded burst over the flow, and worst case queuing delay can be obtained dividing the output link rate. Automation condition is worst case queuing delay is smaller than forwarding budget. This table is illustrative example. The aggregated worst case burst corresponded to about 22.5 microsecond, which is smaller than the configured forwarding budget. So therefore, admission condition is satisfied. This update is first time we include mathematical proof. We plan to integrate it, working group feedback and comment, ensure to the whole draft. So thank you.
Any questions, comments? So then, please.
Thank you. I'm in charge again. This draft has been updated version 2 by adding a new method for calculating the eligibility time and finish time. This draft aims to provide deterministic end-to-end latency and jitter according to the flow rate, and it belongs to the flow level rate based left-bounded categories. The main update is the addition of the new eligible time and finish time calculation method called the arrival-based method. According chapter 5.2 is divided two subsections. Subsection 1 is describe the existing directed method, and subsection 2 is a new added arrival-based method. In addition, also we added a course channel Choi. We proposed a new method. Existing direct method, we call the direct method, calculate the eligible time and finish time at the previous node and transmit the time in the packet header, and subsequent node receive that time directly without any state management. And newly added arrival-based method calculate the ET and FT based on the local observed packet arrival time with the scheduling gap and delay component in the packet header. Scheduling gap is referred to the difference between the previous node ideal service completion time and actual service completion time. Derivation starts from the equation 5. Equation 5 refer the delay factor function. This consists of service delay factor and node delay factor and time difference factor. Time difference factor is defined as a difference between the actual service completion time at node H and packet arrival time at node H plus 1. Substituting this definition into the delay factor function, the time difference function is naturally replaced by the packet arrival time as shown in the equation 7. After so we can obtain the finish time can be reconstructed using the packet arrival time and scheduling gap and delay component as shown in equation A. So arrival time based method is no longer required explicit knowledge of the clock difference and propagation delay at node, because their effects are already reflected in the observed packet arrival time. Currently, N-score and C-score solution has been implemented on the FPGA now, and it's currently being tested. So we plan to apply the current network in future and publish the performance testing result next time.
Thank you. Questions, comments?
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Move on to Carlos.
You have it.
Thank you. This is Carlos Bernardos from University Carlos III, presenting on behalf of my co-authors, the draft A Control Plane Framework for Multi-Domain Deterministic Networking. Sorry. This document was first presented as an individual submission in Shenzhen. Actually, this comes from previous presentations on the topic of multi-domain that we basically evolved addressing the comments and feedback from the working group and the chairs. There was a working group adoption call in March, and it was finally adopted. And we submitted the version 0.0, basically the same as individual submission, and then version 0.1 that was submitted in June, incorporating the feedback that was received during the adoption call. So thanks for all the people that contributed with feedback and comments during the adoption call that are listed at the bottom of the slide. So a main quick summary of what changed in 0.1 versus what was in the 0.0 version. Basically, on the one hand, there were many things that didn't change. So we believe that the basic stuff, according to the feedback received so far, is stable, which is a good sign. So we didn't change the domain definition section, which I believe, based also on the past feedback, is key for the discussion to really understand and reach a consensus in the working group. What do we understand by domain in the context of DETNET? The deployment statement, exemplary use case, the two coordination models that are considered at this point, and other sections. Then, based on the feedback, I will not go now to list because this is included in the next slide, but we did some changes in terminology, in some terms, some requirements, and also some changes in the functional requirements. So, as I mentioned, there are many things that stay the same, which is good. I would like to, as I will say in the last slide, to call for your feedback. Now that is a working group document, so it's a document from the working group to check what we have there in terms of the main definitions, the overall framework, the different coordination models that are considered, and please provide your feedback so we can address and refine as needed. So what do we change? So going section by section, in section 2 terminology, we added 2 definitions. We already had the domain controller, hierarchy controller, that was in 0.0 version, but we added a new couple of definitions regarding admission control, and basically the concept that if we have multiple domains, we have to do admission control over all the domains that are involved as part of the multi-domain admission control process. That should be coordinated across all the domains. And we also added something regarding the time-bounded queue mechanism. So we are using those type of mechanisms. We also need to have what we need to coordinate or synchronize within domains in order to use those mechanisms. These terms are they're defined, but they're used consistently in the sections, for example, in the the extended functional requirement sections, and also in the section 5.2, where we deal with resource management and admission control. As I mentioned, 2 new requirements have been added. There were 5 in 0.0 version that remained the same regarding budget allocation, capability advertisement, end-to-end path composition, and support for both coordination models. But we added a couple of requirements. One regarding that admission control must be coordinated across domains, as I mentioned. So an end-to-end flow must only be admitted if every traverse domain admits its segment. And also for the time-bounded queuing, domain controllers must be able to exchange information to align the cycle slots and their phases at the domain boundary. The problem statement per se is unchanged from 0.0 version, as this already motivated the 2 coordination models. Then section 5.2 has been renamed and expanded, so we came from resource management to resource reservation and admission control, and here we basically have addressed or have included what we have in the new functional requirements and in the terminology section, that is the part about the admission control and the part about the mechanisms between domains for the time-bounded queuing schedule. We just discussed the framework level, so specific protocol solutions are left for future and for other type of documents. So that's also something that we want to clarify. This is a framework document, so we are not going into a specific concrete solutions. And then going to the last slide. So these are the questions for the working group and next steps. As I mentioned, we would like to get feedback. So for example, the core framework, domain definition, problem statement, and the coordination models didn't change from 0.0 version. That doesn't mean that it's complete, but we would like to actually get some additional reviews and some feedback, even if the feedback is, okay, we believe this is complete, or of course, if you don't believe it's complete, it needs to be amended, changed, updated, please let us know. The same thing about the domain scope, any remaining cases that should be considered, and once we get to that point, whether there is interest in working on solution, but that will be a next step and not actually part of this specific document. And I see that there are some people in the queue.
It's working now.
Thank you, Carlos. Could you go back to the terminology page? I have just one minor comment.
Yep.
Yeah. Actually, we have 7 suitable categories, right? One of them is time-bounded solution, which are not periodic. Okay. An example of such a solution is the Xiaofu's in-time EDF. So it has the left bound, it has right bound, so it is time-bounded, but it's not slotted.
Okay.
So yeah,
okay.
that's my
Okay. Thanks for the comment. Yeah.
I'm actually next in queue. I appreciate the new terminology, but I think you need to be careful not to redefine existing terms.
Okay.
So in traffic engineering and DETNET architecture, in both of those architectures, there's admission control and I think resource reservation are well defined.
Okay.
And I think the way please just reference back to those
we'll
and
do
make
that.
sure your definitions are aligned.
We'll check and add references to the documents, and I guess for completeness, we can keep at least definitions, but ensuring that is the same that is in the
Yeah,
other one.
it's almost better to say for this definition, go read here.
Okay,
rather than
without
repeat it.
okay.
But that's a little bit of a style point. That's my style. But if you do repeat it, make sure it's verbatim.
So yeah, that's for sure. We should be consistent, and then I'm fine either way. I prefer sometimes to repeat just for avoiding going back and forth, but I'm fine either way.
Don't paraphrase then, just copy and paste.
Yes,
and say,
exactly.
from here, this is the definition.
Sure, thanks.
Thanks. Hi, Mike Blanche. So just a clarification question, because I couldn't find the discussion about the domain definition in the mailing list, but maybe I'm not looking for it right. So by multi-domain, you mean multi-domain controller within a single administrative domain. Is that correct?
At this point, we have 3 definitions of domains in the document. One is like administrative domain base, one is technological domain, and the one that actually we are following is based on controller. So we understand a domain as something that is under control of a PC, for example, or whatever. We don't go into the PC specific solution, but that will be an example. That's what we have in the document, and this is what we understood is the consensus from the working group. Yeah.
Okay, great. I found 1 or 2 places where it's a little bit unclear, so I'll just drop you an email with some suggestions.
Thanks. So,
any further?
Yeah,
go. Yeah, you have not finished.
Okay, yeah. So, yeah, that's all basically. Again, the authors, we will welcome any additional feedback contributions. That will be very much welcome. Thank you.
Okay. Any further feedback right now? Okay. Nobody in the queue. Thank you.
I'm Ferenc Fejes from Ericsson, and I would like to give you some update about our draft, which is Deterministic Networking SRv6 data plane for service protection. Since the last meeting, we have workgroup adoption, and the draft is about how we can leverage existing IPv6 and SRv6 encapsulation to have a redundancy seed. And we also want to leverage the traffic engineering capabilities of SRv6 to that. On the mailing list, there was a question for us, are there any implementation available? So we actually have 2 implementations of this draft. One of them is the Dependable Networking Toolkit. It's a result of 3 years of hard work by a small team within our company and the university collaboration, and it's basically a generic virtual router and switch, and it supports many type of encapsulations and protocols, including in layer 2 DETNET and in layer 3 MPLS DETNET data plane. And as addition, we implemented the redundancy seed in that application as well. You can run it pretty much every, let's say, in the past 5 or 10 years Linux, so it's very portable. We have no external dependencies, and it was a design decision from the beginning. The second implementation is XDP Frere. This is a high performance TSN FRER implementation, or this is started as a high-performance FRER implementation, but we also extended it with the redundancy seed support. So it's use XDP layer of Linux packet processor to create the redundancy seed, and use the SRv6 routing of Linux to create the disjoint passes. The next steps, the technical content of the draft is stable and is in line with the Spring document. There's a related Spring workgroup document about the redundancy protection algorithms and N behaviors and NCAP behaviors. Comments and contributions are always welcome. And some further work item candidates we think of are description of the redundancy seed address design for DETNET scenarios, details of redundancy policy and DETNET cases, like how we can encode the redundancy function in the redundancy seed. We have some proposals, but we need to discuss that. And additionally, how we can work together with existing SRv6 deployments, like, for example, SRv6-based layer 2 or layer 3 VPNs. And thank you for the attention. If you have questions, I'm here.
Any questions, comments? Okay, thank you.
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone here. This is the draft that's been presented quite a few times. This is the fifth version. Well, this time I'm just going to present the difference, well, basically the changes based on the comments from the previous a few meetings. And then now the first one is the subject line of the draft has been changed. Well, this is based on the comments from Artorias and also from Low last time to say, okay, this draft is more like a framework. So basically, in that case, we change the subject line to be the framework for flow and aggregation in scaling deterministic network. Originally, well, there's a line at the bottom of the page showing, okay, what's the subject line before. Here, just to say, okay, what changes from 04 to 05. And then the first two bullets just give some histories and also appreciation to many review our comments. This time, there are 6 major changes. The first one is, as I said already, is about the title and the revised introduction. And then the second one is regarding one subsection, actually, to clarify the motivation for the draft. And the third one is regarding the comments, what it's like, and the relationship regarding the forwarding mechanism. That is the comments from last time also, from chairs and also from toilers. And also to add contents, the fourth one, to clarify the data plane formats and the control plane extension considerations. And then regarding the fifth one, will be the automation control and the resource allocation for aggregate. And the final one, like editorial change to move a section to all the apex. Okay, well, this is just the diff comparison. Well, there are 6 bubbles on the right part, and then that bubble, each bubble is corresponding to a change that's being displayed in the previous slide. Yeah, this is the first one. This is based on comments, and then we changed this one. Okay, this is a framework, and also in the introduction section, we provide the detailed objectives. Or this basically, it's okay, when you read the introduction, you're going to know, okay, for this framework draft, what are objectives here? So one thing we want to emphasize, this draft is to focus on the flow aggregation in scaling DETNET. It's not going to replace, but to complement existing DETNET DP specification like IE, RFC 938 and in 964. Those the next three objectives. Now I'm not going to talk the details, just in the draft here. And the second change is regarding some comments on the forwarding mechanism that well, basically the data plan, but this in general, because the comments from last time is okay. There are quite a few different forwarding mechanism or queuing things, but how about this one? And then, so based on the comments, we consider this one will be like a starting document in general to talk about the forwarding mechanism regarding the aggregate flow versus member flows. And also in the new change, in the new revision, we put one example on the C-score and N-score to demonstrate the benefit of flow aggregations. Yeah, that is the second change. And then this one is regarding the data plane format. This is also a comments from the last time to say, okay, what are you going to specify or to achieve in this draft when compared to some other draft or existing work. So here we just to make it more clear, like aggregation information can be used alone or together with some other metadata to get the queuing and the forwarding. And then we list some data plane format, the encoding format for data plane, or the different bunch of options, like in the some traditional like existing like DSCP or traffic classifier or a label in RFC 18964, something new. No, sorry, some existing one, and also the MPS MNA things there. The last one is has not been well, standardized or adopted, but this is one alternative option for the for the extension of the DP format here. Yeah, here we want to emphasize the framework draft. Our framework draft is focusing on the extension of the DP to handle the aggregation, to handle the aggregated flow with also with the consideration of individual flow. So that is the focal point of the framework draft, our draft. And this one is regarding about the automation control and the resource allocation is also with the focus on the DP, but with the consideration here, it's the automation aggregated level. Automation also will have to ensure the guarantee for the individual flow. So this is for the automation control and also to, for the resource allocation. So for each one, admission control and resource allocation, both the aggregate level flow and individual or member flow requirement have to be taken care. Yeah, this is just for completeness. And then we say, okay, well, in it costs, for the draft, and then there are more things on the control plane thing that that need to be considered. For example, well, this is the first bullet is regarding the network parameter and end-to-end budget, the exchange across the different domain controllers. This is like a reference Carlos, I think he just presented on this part. And the other thing is we are referencing another draft, individual draft, to see the flow aggregation, or there needs some mapping. But when the DETNET flow across all domains over one TSN stream, those type of things. Well, we talk about something need to be considered for the control plane extension. The details. No, the details are in the draft, but still we have to emphasize the draft is to focus on the DP part, data plane. But CP, we cannot exclude it. So basically, we are adding words and sections to describe or to explain. Yeah, that is the things we collect all the comments from previous a few previous meetings, and believe as of now we have taken care all the comments. And then now, we want to, of course, continue comments on this one, and yeah, the work, how it's good.
I have a question to page 7. If you could go back one page on, can you go back one page? On the bottom bullet, like DETNET flow to TSN stream mapping. I thought this is the case when TSN is a subnet technology. So there you have the DETNET flow and TSN as a subnet. I am not sure on the use of BGP here, or maybe I don't get the use case.
Oh, you mean that? Cause sorry about the resonance is so bad. I just cannot clearly hear it. But I assume you're talking about the second bullet regarding like this is also like a cross domain here. You have DETNET flow domain. You have another DETNET domain, and then you have a flow that going to DETNET flow going to pass whatever from the left DETNET domain, like the domain 1, and then go to the other domain 2. But here in between, you have some other like a TSN domain or whatever things you need to map.
Okay.
Yeah, and then on this side is mapped to TSN, but to the other side, the TSN map out. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe take this offline. Any further questions, comments?
Yeah, I think Janos was asking about the appropriateness of using BGP to specify
okay, sorry. Oh, yeah.
to specify what's happening at the TSN layer.
Oh, okay, yeah. Now I understand. Because the resonance I just cannot.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah. For this is just to try to get an example. We reference the draft that also authored, one of the co-author about how to we can use because this is like a consideration for the CP parsing. So basically, in that draft we say, okay, we can use the BGP flow spec to handle this type of things because this draft, our draft, is talking about cross-domain things. The cross-domain is going to unless there are different scenarios, like you're always running on DETNET domains all the way. But also you have some other scenario, you have islands of DETNET domains with some other domain in between. Well, in that case, we want to use this.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Any further thoughts?
Yeah, we have further thought about the thing, and we try to collect all the comments and then work hard. Yeah.
So as this is Lou as contributor, not chair, so pretend I'm on the floor. It would have been helpful for me to understand how you're mapping, how you're working out aggregation across our current Yang models. Because in the Yang's definition, we have support. There's envisioned support for aggregation, and if you remember the work, we spent a lot of time on aggregation, and I don't think you mentioned that in the document.
No Yang
so
model.
I think looking at the DETNET Yang model and talking about how it supports aggregation would be helpful. Would have been helpful to me as a reader.
So your suggestion is to add something regarding the Yang model.
So
things.
You know how you're trying to align with what's happening at the data plane level? It would be helpful also to align at the Yang level. If you haven't looked at it, I think looking at how aggregation is supported there would be helpful.
Okay, yeah.
And again, this is a comment as contributor.
Sure. Okay. Yeah, we can take a look, but still, seems like our focus on the DP part. Yeah.
So the Yang model was designed to support the data plane.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Well, it's all about setting up the data plane.
Okay. Sure.
So it should be well aligned. I would almost expect an informational document on aggregation to describe how to use the Yang model to control the data plane.
Okay. Oh, yeah, we can take a look at that.
Take a look, and again, just a contributor comment. If you don't agree, don't do it.
Okay. Oh, yeah, sure. Thank you. But as a chair or something else.
We'll see how it develops in the working group. Thank you. Xiaofu.
Hello everyone, I'm not sure if you can hear me clearly. Hello?
Yes, the acoustics aren't great. We're getting a lot of echoing, so maybe speak a little quieter if possible, and maybe that'll help.
Okay, this is Christopher. I will present the proposal for mechanism to control jitter caused by ingress shaping. Okay. There are several updates in this version. Firstly, we're refactoring the section introduction to reflect the motivation of this proposal. Policing is a collective term for a series of actions, such as reshaping action and non-conforming packets that exceed the expected traffic specification. It's important that only when the packet input into the queuing mechanism is conforming, it can provide bounded delay jitter of the DETNET path. The queuing mechanism cannot control how long the ingress shipping delay. Secondly, we change the term policing delay to shipping delay to avoid confusion, and also change some related terms. For example, the head and policy delay is changed to ingress shipping delay, edge-to-edge policy delay budget to shipping delay budget, and endpoint dumping delay is changed to egress dumping delay. Again, this figure shows the relationship between the policy and the queuing function. A non-conforming flow is transformed into conforming flow and then enter the DETNET path. The end-to-end delay requirement of the service flow equals to the path delay plus the shipping delay budget. The path delay is guaranteed by the queuing mechanism. The shipping delay budget equals to the ingress shipping delay plus the egress dumping delay. And the egress dumping delay is carried in the packet, used as the holding type and egress to remove the jitter caused by the policy function. So the shipping delay budget can be set for the service flow according to its possible maximum shipping delay experienced and network entries. It may reach the order of magnitude of SPI. For example, a non-conforming arrival pattern may contain too much packets arrived back-to-back during SPI. The last packet in the block get a large shipping delay. It may also be a small one based on the sampling or configuration. For example, the application source control the flow rate to fully comply with its traffic specification and the solution traffic per SPI. Anyway, a smaller budget is better. So this figure shows how the non-conforming arrived pattern is changed to the conforming shaped pattern after the policing function with network entries. 3. Closing packets are sparsely distributed within SPI. The queuing mechanism is expected to apply the same latency and JIT to these 3 packets, and eventually these 3 packets are once again closely together and network egress by the dumping function. So for multi-domain consideration, if our DETNET path spans multiple technical domains, there are 2 options to apply policing jitter control. The first option is to apply separate policing for each domain. The second option is to apply single policing for all domains. The first option will introduce more shipping delay, compressing the space of path delay, especially considering that each transit domain and egress domain need to receive conforming traffic from the upstream domain. So
So that it is meaningless to turn the originally conforming output traffic into non-conforming traffic by dump, and turn it into a conforming traffic by ship. So this is meaningless. So by comparison, the second option is clearly better. Okay, for next step, we welcome any comments and questions for this approach, and any interesting for cooperation. Thank you.
Gino, please.
Thank you, Xiaofu, for the presentation. Yeah, I remember I have exchanged the emails with you about this draft, but my question is a little bit different one now. Could you go back to the page 2, overview of the solution?
Okay.
Yeah, thank you. It's page 3. So you assume that the end-to-end latency requirements is larger than the path delay. Is it correct?
Yes.
So
yes.
how can you guarantee that? How can you guarantee that the path delay is less than the delay requirements?
You might, if I understand correctly, the requirement of end-to-end delay of specific service flow is predetermined. Okay, then we will consider the possible maximum shipping delay and network entries. So the requirement minus the shipping delay will be the path delay. So based on this path delay, we will calculate the DETNET path.
So if I understood correctly, you assume that there is a certain mechanism that can guarantee such a path delay is less than the delay requirements.
Yes, sure.
Okay, it is assumed. And your draft is not covering that part. You are talking about the ingress shaping delay, egress stamping delay, and the sum of those delays can be exactly as the delay requirements. Okay, I understand. But as I have told you in the previous meeting, and maybe 2 meetings before, this kind of solution, I'm not talking about the motivation or the necessity of the solution, but the mechanism itself is quite overlapping with the existing standard. I told you the exact number of the standard. Have you looked into that standard?
Maybe I don't remember clearly about you suggest document, but I just remember that you draft the ADN mechanism maybe have some same content with this document.
Right. That solution is mentioned in the ADN draft and another IETF standard. I will tell you more about it later to you, and I recommend you to look into that standard. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Let's move on to the next one.
Good afternoon. I'm Zheng Xinhan from China Unicom. Today, I'm going to present our work on handling of traffic characteristic deviation for DETNET. This draft was presented at IETF 124th meeting. We highly appreciate the comments from Gino, Janusz, David, and Lou. Based on these comments, we have made some updates. We have changed the draft name and terms, replaced the anomalous traffic with traffic characteristic deviation to avoid misleading. As pointed out by the Gino and Janusz, it's not a flow faults or errors. Second, we clearly state the problem, specify the gap between the DETNET ideal model and the practical deployment deviations. We especially focus on the macroburst accumulation at flow aggregation points. Third, addressing the comments from the David and Lou, we clarified the applicable scope to periodic queuing mechanism as defined in DETNET data plane taxonomy draft. Well, let's look at the background. As we know, DETNET relies on the results reservation to guarantee the bounded latency, the low jitter, and low packet loss rate. In ideal DETNET model, each flow strictly conforms to control plane scheduling. The fine-grained admission control and per hop traffic keep all traffic within the reserved time slot capacity, even at aggregation nodes. But it is quite difficult to achieve in practical deployment. There are three main reasons. First, the source traffic has a variable packet length, and the uneven arrival time, it will generate the macro burst at egress queues. Second, the admission control is coarse. Now usually use the second level average bandwidth, but it fails to capture the macro burst in milliseconds. Third, at the aggregation node, multiple flows share egress and their macro bursts will overlap. It will exceed the reserved capacity. As we can see on the below figure, it's a comparison of the normal scenario and the deviation scenario. The packet with the label 1 use Q1 should transmitted in the time slot 1. But due to these above reasons, it sometimes will exceed the time slot capacity, so it will break the arranged schedule. How do the current solutions solve this? We mentioned the deviation problems. On the control plane, the method using the promotion, the reduction results based on the peak traffic. On data planes, we directly discard the packet exceed the time slot capacity, or the buffer will buffer it onto the next scheduling circle. However, this has limitations. It will lead to the low results utilizations, the severe queue degradations for affected flows, and the performance may even worse than the BE service. So we propose an enhanced DETNET data plane mechanism to gracefully handle the transient traffic deviations. Our mechanism includes two complementary policies, squeezing policy and degrading policy. The policy activation rules and threshold can be configured by the controller, and this solution is compatible with the existing periodic queuing mechanism. It can ensure the priority for the DETNET flows, and it can provide the graduate response based on the deviation severity. For the co-handling policy, squeezing policy temporarily defers deviated packet to the next time slot for transmission, while retaining original scheduling identifiers. This provides a temporary capacity expansion to avoid data loss during the transient burst. And the degrading policy directed deviated packet to a lower priority queue, and it modifies the scheduling identifiers when accumulation exceeds the preset threshold. So these two policies can be enabled independently or concurrently. If both of them disabled, it will fall back to the default mechanism, discard or just treat as a BE. Moreover, we also introduced the C2 safeguard mechanism to prevent unbounded accumulation caused by consecutive squeezing. The one is the synchronization threshold mechanism. After n-slowed squeezing, the current queue must re-synchronize with the time-slow schedule to keep consistent. And another is the exponential decay mechanism. The allowed squeezing capacity needs to decay exponentially when there is a consecutive squeezing. So this will limit the degree of the squeezing. So it will avoid to affect the redefined deterministic schedule. Finally, there is an overall traffic division handling logic. It has 4 steps. Step 1 detects the traffic division. When packet arrive, the node checks whether the time slot is exceeded. Step 2, make decision. If there to make a decision to check whether we need to use our proposed solution or just normal forwarding. Step 3, execute the specific policy using either the squeezing policy or the degrading policy, or use both of them according to the decision result. Step 4, report the result to the controller for network-wide coordination. Okay, for next steps, we are asking for more reviews and comments from the working group, and we will keep alignment with the DETNET data plan mechanism. Thanks for your attention, and sorry for my hoarse voice.
Gino, please.
Thank you. Thank you for the nice presentation. I have a rather general question about this draft. I agree to you that there can be burst accumulation, and because of the burst accumulation, the flows T-spec traffic specification can be changed over hops or over domains. So in end-to-end path, the bad things can happen. So I agree to you that there can be something must be done to adjust those misbehavior. Okay, but if you think about who is the cause, what is the cause of those misbehavior? It is not the flow itself. It is rather a network. So because of such a background, we have to isolate flows, we have to protect flows, and we have to guarantee flows performance over other competing flows. But in general, your two solutions, squeezing and the other one, I think squeezing or degrading can cause innocent flow can be penalized because of other flows, bad behavior. Innocent flow can be penalized. So I think we have to be more careful about also isolating flows from misleading flows and so on. So I suggest you to consider more about this aspect, and I myself will think more about it. What do you think?
Okay, thanks for your suggestion, and we will consider it. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
This is Lou as contributor. How do you see squeezing and degrading relating to shaping and policing?
So you are asking the shaping policy. Yes, but the current problem is that for the admission control, it usually use the car, the not use some device don't use the shaping. If it can do well shaping, yeah, all the flow will strictly conforms the control plane scheduling.
So you're saying that these terms are for admission control only?
For pardon? For
It's for accounting for the shaping that happens in the network, in the data plane? Is that what you're saying?
No, our solution is to solve the temporary division, and it won't affect the overall DETNET schedule in a very temporary time. Just gracefully solve it.
In the data plane or in the?
In the data plane.
Okay.
Yeah, also, but the control plane need to do some coordination, need to preset.
That makes sense.
Okay.
I'm trying to understand if the term is any different than shaping being applied to a time-slotted network or time-slotted queuing, excuse me.
But what's the question? Sorry.
Is squeezing any different than shaping?
Oh,
or is it a special case of shaping when it is applied to time-slotted queuing?
Yeah, if you use shaping when in the if you use the shaping that it can buffer some deviations. Yeah, but if there is no shaping, just the car, just use the car, then it has the problems. You can use the upper squeezing and grading solution to avoid some deviation.
I'll take it to the list. I'm not sure I follow. To me, it seems that you're introducing a new term for something that we already have a general term for. Yeah. I don't understand why squeezing is different from shaping, but I'll take it to the list.
Okay, we can chat on the
or offline. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Luis.
So hello everyone, this is Luis from Telefonica. I will introduce this new draft, which is about observability capabilities for pre-auth and also the proposition of some requirements associated to that. So the idea basically is, okay, pre-auth is fundamental for the reliability functionality. So basically, as we well know, pre-auth allows the replication, the elimination and the ordering of the packets once we deliver through different paths. But however, there is no notion of operation and maintenance associated to the pre-auth functionality. It's true that there are OIM mechanisms for the net service and so, but not specifically for the pre-auth function. So here, the idea of this draft is essentially to work on that. So define pre-auth specific OIM requirements, metrics, and so, and basically identify the set of events that could be worthy to be reported so that we can incorporate this operation on top of pre-auth. So, so basically the idea was, as I said, okay, with pre-auth we have this replication, elimination, and ordering, but it would be nice to have the possibility of understanding what is the behavior of this pre-auth once it's running in the network. So essentially to understand how pre-auth decisions are made, which path copy is selected at the time of once we have a copy of the different flows, what is the path that we have selected and what others are discarded. Also the reason why the packets are discarded, and maybe some further details about how the reordering buffers behave, what is the depth of the buffer, and these kind of things. So in the draft, we are proposing some initial ideas, of course, open to be discussed and basically to receive feedback from the working group. An initial list of observable events that could be maybe relevant for the operation of pre-op would be to understand the replication events, the duplicate elimination events, the reordering events, also the timeouts in case that we don't receive any copy for any of the paths to understand what are the timeouts there, the gap detection events, and late arrival events. So regarding metrics, we also introduced some initial ideas. Of course, this is open for discussion as well. And we could identify 4 sets of metrics. Replication metrics, could be the number of replicated packets. Elimination metrics, that could be the number of duplicate packets that are received, also the duplicate packets discarded, and so on and so forth. Reordering metrics, like the number of reordered packets, the average and maximum reordering depth, because we will have some buffer to play with and basically to understand what is the depth of the reordering, 1, 2, 3 n packets, and also the average and maximum holding time for the reordering process. And finally, some reliability metrics, like the number of recovered packets. So all of this will help us to provide an idea of how the pre-off is behaving in the network, the pre-off functionality. We introduced as well some requirements. Once more is a first try, so we know that these require more discussion. And these are 6 requirements we have identified so far. Requirement 1 would be to expose counters associated with packet replication activities. Requirement 2, expose counters associated with duplicate elimination. Requirement 3 will be for the support of identification of packet discard reasons. So to understand what will be the reason behind the discarding, maybe the packet was already received, the packet arrived late, and so. Requirement 4, expose reordering buffer utilization statistics to understand the behavior of the buffer. This will help us to fine-tune maybe the behavior of the buffer so that we can optimize it later on for the reordering purposes. Requirement 5, the support of time-stamped event reporting so that we can track basically when the things are happening. And requirement 6, requirement 6 is just simply to reinforce the point that these OIM requirements should remain independent on the underlying DETNET data plane technology. So basically that should be data plane agnostic. So the next steps is, because this is the first occasion that we introduced the draft to understand if this pre-off specific observability is something of interest for the working group to check if it's basically a gap. We agreed on that. And of course, to request feedback, to collect as well ideas. So all about metrics, all about the requirements, about events, and so is a first try. So yeah, basically I would like to invite interested people here in the working group to basically provide comments, suggestions, and feedback. My idea is to prepare a new version for next IETF, consolidate all the feedback received, and keep working on this, and basically entering maybe into details of specific requirements and so on. That's all from my side. Thank you.
Thank you. Balázs.
Balázs Varga from Ericsson. Thank you for the presentation. I have first a clarification question. So I had the feeling that, so first of all, I think it is very important to understand what happened inside those functionalities, and we should have feedback from that. However, so far in the DETNET work group, we have not defined the algorithm used for replication elimination. We have defined what you can see on the wire, and there are some aspects defined for that. My feeling is that based on your requirement list, that it is very much algorithm and implementation specific. Some of them maybe not, and I think this is something that should be the first focus if we decide to go on that part. But some of them is definitely very implementation specific. For example, there are implementation where you will not know if a packet arrived over which path it was received because it has the same flow identifier, for example. So some of these might not be a valid counter or valid state in some of the algorithms. In some others, it can be. So I think that should be discussed first, whether there is a gap, but we are just jumping over and trying to define something that was not defined before.
Okay, thanks, Wallace. Maybe it could be, as you said, maybe some of them could have some dependency on the algorithm. Of course, we can discriminate them. But yeah, things like maybe understanding what is the path where you are receiving the traffic and so could be relevant for maybe to detect any kind of issue on the path. So maybe we can work on let's say, on the boundaries to clearly define what could be algorithm agnostic, but yet relevant to be reported. Maybe it's a matter of understanding the actual operational events that could be maybe worthy to get evidence from.
Okay, thank you. And the second question would be about, we already have an OEM document. So how this document is related to the OEM related document? That would be my question.
So it is related with the overall OIM, you mean? I guess that the scope of the OIM document is on the service itself, not on the functionalities. Not sure it would make sense to bring this content there. Maybe it's a matter for the chairs to decide. But basically, what we are intending to cover here is the gap of this functionality. It makes sense to put together with the other document. Okay, no, I'm not against that.
I think that relationship should be clarified just in order to avoid later on any dissonance between the drafts and here just to define in detail the focus. That would be my request. Thank you.
Agree. Thank you.
So I think the requirements at a high level are pretty non-contentious. You know, it's going to be easy to get agreement on. I think it's the details that Balazs is talking about in terms of implementation. There's definitely certain information you have listed, which I think will be very hard to do in any implementation. Sure, as a user, that might be interesting, but I just don't see, for example, having your generated sequence number being captured when you're operating in any reasonable data rate. It's this, you know, there's too many packets going on a second. It doesn't make sense to even capture that. So I think it would be good to break down what is actually required and what is desired information.
Okay.
As you refine the document.
Okay.
And I think the point about general relationship to the other OEM work makes sense, and I don't have an answer for it right now.
Okay. All right, thanks. Thank you for the feedback.
Thank you. Thank you for the nice presentation and preparation. I have just a quick question, not the comment. In your requirement 3, it is about the identification of the packet discard regions. I'm not so sure what you mean by packet discard, not the elimination. And how can you identify the packet discard, the region of the packet discard? That's my question.
Yeah, basically, you could discard maybe a packet because was not well received, or just simply because you have other copies of that. Basically, to understand what is behind the decision of discarding certain packets. Maybe, as you said, probably in the context of pre-auth, maybe it makes not so much sense to consider other reasons for discarding, just simply the fact that the packet has been already received. I mean, there is one copy already. So maybe something we could revise, yes.
Okay, so so it is different. Discard is different from elimination. What you are talking.
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Maybe I just wanted to point to one more information. In previous, Ferenc already spoken about this open source implementation of the pre-auth functionality. And in the user space open implementation, there are also some observability related functionalities. So maybe this is something worth to check. We can have also discussion on that offline.
Of course.
Because I think that some of this stuff, maybe you will find similar in that implementation already.
Perfect. Wonderful. Thank you.
Maybe just add on to that one, like this work here somewhat based on or was triggered, inspired by 802.1 CB frame application elimination for reliability, which specifies counters and so on. So if someone goes that way to implement the functions, there is some basis, and that's also there in the code.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
But it's good contribution, good discussion. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So we have some time actually, and we could not complete the discussion in Cisco. So I would suggest to leverage the time and go back to the Cisco. And actually, I would like to call out a specific slide. Gino kindly prepared for this session. And I actually have a question. I think maybe it might be beneficial to discuss, given the people are in the room, that back to the scope of the SDOs, and given that the work has been done, a lot of work has been done in the ITUT study group 13, standards are out. And correct me if I'm not getting it right, but my view is that the actual functional and operational specification belongs to the ITUT documents.
Yes.
And what is the IETF scope is the data plane details, and pretty much it. So if we want to have a clean separation, might be the line.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think we should go to the floor.
I'm the rapporteur of question 6 in ITUT study group 13.
And do you mind just saying your name, because
yeah, I'm Taesang Che. Okay.
You can grab the mic or it's.
So as you just mentioned, I think that's correct direction. That since in our group we are developing standards from the use case and requirements and framework architecture point of view, we don't go into the mechanisms and protocol level details. So if we can, I mean, the document that we are developing in ITUT can take a role of baseline, so that here in DETNET working group can further develop the mechanisms and protocol details based on that. I think that will be good harmonization between the two groups.
What I just would repeat what was said before. We should avoid duplication.
What I thought I heard is you said you don't define the mechanisms and the formats. Is that correct?
So far, we have dealt some part of it, but as an effort to avoid any duplications between the two groups, I think Yeshinu can sort out what has been worked on in our group, and then if necessary, I think they can the document can be further revised to avoid any duplications between the two.
Yeah, we agree. We very much want to avoid any duplication. I think we need to take a look at the liaison and see if it is clear on where you are stopping and the IETF can start. And if it's not, perhaps that's what we do in our response to the liaison, is ask for clarification.
Okay. For example, I mean, for your information, this document, although we were planned to consent at the last meeting, but we delayed this until we get the response from this group. So if necessary, I think we can make any necessary revisions based on the decision made in this group.
Okay. That would be good. Thank you.
Mike, please.
Thanks, Mike Blanche, and it's great to see Taesung, our question 6 rapporteur from study group 13 here. And I would strongly encourage you guys to go and have a beer, coffee, your favorite beverage afterwards, and to discuss this informally later, because at the moment there does seem to be overlap and contradiction between some of these different documents, such that liaisons are being sent pointing out that at a very fundamental level, one document mentions 3 pieces of metadata, another mentions 4. Some of these we've talked about having 2 before. It seems to be a moving target between the 2 SDOs, and it would be much better to have it consistent and with much closer cooperation, and I think that would be really helpful. So it's great to see you here, Taesung, and I think it would be fantastic if there could be closer cooperation.
Yeah, I think the comment is a good one about having an outside conversation. So definitely would like to, if you're available, spend a little time talking about it. In terms of the disconnect about 2 or 3 pieces of information, it's going to be really easy. We don't own the base specification. We will not be defining something different. If it is, the IESG will not approve it. So it's going to be that particular point is easy. We're going to do what the ITUT document says.
So just to follow up on that, we do have a problem now that if in this draft here, we are defining 4 pieces of metadata, we have to go back and revise those 2 completed ITUT recommendations, 3129 and 3148, because they only refer to 3 pieces of metadata. So there's like this.
So if the ITUT document refers to 3, we're going to refer to 3.
The 3 boxes on the top that says high-level requirements, the box on the left refers to 4, the 2 boxes on the right refer to 3.
Could you go back? Could you go?
That's not a problem we can fix here. That's not a problem we can fix here. So if there's an internal inconsistency in ITUT documents, that has to be fixed there if we want to use them.
Yeah.
The other alternative is we don't do the work here.
Yeah, again, 2 important keywords. The first one is the alignment. Any related document should be aligned to have the exactly same metadata, same kinds of metadata, same number of metadata. That's for sure. The second keyword is non-overlapping. Okay, so 2 SDO has a different aspect, a different document, different specifications. So yeah, we all working together to achieve those 2 keywords. And as you can see in the future plan, they all will have full metadata. I can assure you. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm very supportive of that.
Thank you. We definitely appreciate the discussion. We have maybe a minute and a half left in the session. If anyone has anything they'd like to bring up in that time. We have a number of gaps in the notes. The acoustics in here, particularly up front, are sometimes it's really hard to hear what everyone is saying. Please go back and check the notes. If you made a comment at the mic, please make sure your comment is accurately reflected. Please make sure your name is correctly spelled. We really would appreciate that. And with that, thank you very much for a good session and good discussion, and look forward to see you at IETF 127.
Okay. Thank you all.
Hello. Right. Yes.
Two comments.
Yes.
The first one is that you mentioned the RC 9933, the young model
Yes.
for the flow aggregation. I just
It's not for flow aggregation. It's the Yang model for DETNET.
Yeah, I understand. So I just checked that RC.
Yeah.
And from my understanding is that the young model is to configure the display
Correct.
flow aggregation in that case, but from then it is aligned with the RC8964, right? The
Which-
display 8964.
It's definitely aligned with the data plane document.
Yeah. So, but this new IT is to extend or to complement